I'm Brenda McNamara. The year is 2004. The movie you are about to see could be considered the lost episode in Waterford's history. This chronicle of our community was discovered incomplete. Now, courtesy of the Media Network of Waterford, using digital technology, this 16mm film and its 34-page script have been joined together to preserve its place in our heritage. The year, 1960. Join me as I have the pleasure of telling you the story of Lakeland's Paradise. This part of Michigan territory, rich in timber, game, and fur, aroused the homesteading instinct in Major Oliver Williams, who became familiar with this area during the War of 1812. The territory was not opened to public sale until late in 1817, then was offered in parcels of 320 acres at $2 per acre. In 1818, Major Williams came to Detroit. He quickly decided the village of several hundred hard-drinking trappers and lumbermen unfit for his family. He then rode to Pontiac, a new sawmill town of less than 100 people. Still dissatisfied, he started north on the Saginaw Trail, then only a narrow Indian path. For a few miles, the trail skirted a boggy swamp, then led to a flat plain surrounded by lakes. At this point, where Scott Lake Road and the Dixie Highway now meet, he found fertile land, timber, game, wildfowl, and water in abundance. Satisfied, he became Waterford Township's first settler. Even then, there was a school problem. Major Williams partitioned off a classroom in a log sheep shed and sent east for a teacher for his children. By 1822, other pioneers had settled nearby, and Major Williams donated land, marked by this stone, for the first school in Oakland County. There are few reminders of those early days, such as the Whitfield Homestead and the King Centennial Farm, both on Williams Lake Road. Though the farms have been divided into hundreds of home sites, the original homes remain. But this is the past. Here is Waterford Township today. Now Waterford is a well-populated area, but there still remain a few spots where wildlife travelers such as these egrets pause for food and rest. The young couple attracted by the scene are evidently considering moving. Jerry and Margaret are now living in a crowded apartment in a nearby industrial city. We find them discussing that age-old problem, where to find a home, away from the cramped urban life of the city where fresh air, educational facilities for the children to come, shopping areas, churches, recreational activities, police and fire protection, and good government are available. After study of the real estate sections of the local newspapers and much discussion, they have decided to drive to the municipal airport and charter a plane for an aerial view of Waterford Township. If pleased with their trip, they will drive around the community in their station wagon, investigating the merits of the township further. Let's trail along as they leave their apartment and head for the airport. We are more familiar with the route, so we arrive ahead of our adventurers. Jerry and Margaret enter the airport by the east gate near the first city-built hangar and office building, now the headquarters and repair station of an aircraft distributor. They park their wagon and look at the commemorative stone which dedicates the airport to Harry Brooks, a pioneer Oakland County aviator who lost his life while senior test pilot for Henry Ford. The sound of engines draw their attention to the DC-3 used by the Detroit News to carry newspapers to northern Michigan. Having looked over the hangar and the aircraft at the east end of the field, Jerry and Margaret continue on to the former American Airlines hangar, now occupied by an aircraft distributor, their host. They are eager to start their tour. The distributor's pilot, standing by, introduces himself. Jerry and Margaret explain the purpose of the flight to their pilot as they are escorted to an awaiting Aztec, a new, comfortable twin-engine aircraft. The pilot, learning this is their first experience in air travel, reassures them as is customary. Then, as they board the plane, he tells them many of the sights they will see. They will fly over an area of 36 square miles. Jerry and Margaret will see miles of good roads. Some are main arteries and most prominent from the air. They are told they will see lake after lake, more than 30 lakes within Waterford Township and hundreds more bordering the community. They will notice many beaches on the shores of the lakes. Many of these spots are state-owned, making public access to most lakes possible. The Clinton River, winding its sinuous course through the township, will draw their attention. The cluster of county buildings will stand out prominently against the landscape. They will see the new modern subdivisions laid out in neat geometrical patterns. From this height, the homes will appear to be tiny dollhouses set in a background of green. They will also see lake property homes, small farms, and estates which house the more than 45,000 residents of the community. Jerry and Margaret are now anxious to see these sights. Gaining altitude, they circle back over the airport. The pilot informs them more than 200 people are employed in these buildings. Incidentally, all privately owned establishments pay property and personal property taxes to Waterford Township. The planes they see belong to transients. Their attention is called to Williams Lake, one of our beautiful residential areas. North of Williams Lake, Mesa Day Lake with its public fishing site appears in the foreground. A turn affords a good view of Elizabeth Lake with its adjacent golf course. Orchard and Cass Lakes appear in the background with Crescent Lake in the foreground. Flying over Watkins Lake with its well-known point, they see Scott Lake in the distance. Another turn shows them Elizabeth Lake from a different angle, with Union, Green, Long, and Cooley Lakes in the background. Near the center of the township, surrounded by new homes and its adjacent park, they see the state fish hatchery, formerly used to raise trout. Its present function is the raising of small and largemouth bass. These are used to stock our many lakes. Circling on their way back to the airport, they look at Waterford Township Senior High School and the athletic field. The trip is completed and safety belts are tightened. The pilot lands and he allows the plane to roll to the intersection and turns off the runway to the paved taxi strip. Their path takes them past the new administration building and control tower. This building will be the air passenger terminal and the tower will control air traffic. The plane is parked and the engines roll to a stop. Jerry and Margaret disembark, visibly delighted and impressed with their trip. Their smiles as they step off the plane indicate proof of their satisfaction with this part of their exploration program. Jerry and Margaret wait for their pilot to descend and converse for a few moments with him, discussing their reaction to the flight. They express their appreciation for a wonderful trip, thank him heartily, say goodbye, and turn toward their car. In planning the next stage of their journey, they had decided to drive all over the area. As they enter their wagon, Jerry and Margaret are trying to plan a definite route. Unable at this time to agree on what to look for first, they happily decide to drive at random until some more definite plan comes to mind. Now that they are on their way, let's follow and see our township as it looks to them. Our young couple start for a new subdivision, but are halted by a safety patrol at the Waterford Center School on Airport Road. Waterford School District safety patrols are carefully selected and trained to protect our school children with the help of adult supervision. This incident determines Jerry and Margaret to visit the schools, and after a few minutes on the road, we find them at Beaumont, a new elementary school on Elizabeth Lake Road near the western boundary of the township. They find, in talking to school authorities, that after World War II, September 1st, 1946 to be exact, the Waterford School District had 10 elementary schools with 3,523 students enrolled. There were no high nor junior high schools. High school students had to be sent to other districts on a tuition basis. In order to keep up with the explosion in population since 1946, a high school, 2 junior high schools, and 12 elementary schools have been built. These have been financed with 5 bond issues and 2 building and site authorizations voted by the taxpayers. All obligations have been met as due, and now construction has been started on a second high school. These schools are presently attended by more than 12,800 students, instructed by 460 teachers. Curriculums have been modernized. Mental, vocational, and physical education programs have been properly balanced. Necessary equipment has been installed and qualified teachers added to the staff, giving us a school system ranking with the best. Our young couple continue their school survey and stop at the John D. Pierce Junior High School, named for Michigan's first superintendent of public instruction. John D. Pierce is now recognized to have been one of the foremost educators of his day. A short walk then takes them to the nearby athletic field, where the school track team is hard at work practicing the relay race. Looking around for other activities, they find the girls' archery class at the nearby target range. After receiving instruction in the handling of their bows, the girls line up to watch a demonstration of form and skill in this ancient sport. Regretfully, Jerry and Margaret leave, and we catch up with them at the entrance to the Isaac E. Crary Junior High School. Impressed by its design, they back up for a better view of the building. This school was named in honor of a legislator who, intensely interested in education, was instrumental in making Michigan the first state of the Union to have a public school system. This building, with its wings connected with canopied walks, was our first junior high school. We move to the athletic field, which is ample for all outdoor physical education activities. In the secondary school, mass participation is encouraged in all sports, such as this spirited game of soccer we see. Underway again, our young couple pass the John Monteith School, a newer elementary school. At the Pontiac Lake School, they are just in time to visit a second grade arithmetic class. Jerry and Margaret are pleased to see the most advanced methods of instruction are in use. Modern educators are answering today's challenge by revising the training methods. Today, the child is taught not only how, but why. Modern curriculums introduce aids which not only hold the student's interest, but assist him in the mastery of his subject. For years, the Chinese merchant counting up his sales in an apparatus of rods and buttons has been a favorite subject for our cartoonists. A few years ago, a Chinese student using an abacus in stiff competition with our best calculating machine operators won speed and accuracy tests consistently. Amazed, some of our better mathematicians investigated the abacus and found that its use promoted a better understanding of the basic fundamentals of the science of numbers. Today, the abacus, or a version of it, is used in most progressive schools. We find it in Waterford schools. On their way again, Jerry and Margaret park their wagon at the Waterford Senior High School and walk over to the entrance. They arrive just before the classes are dismissed for the day. School bus drivers are carefully screened before employment. They must not only be good drivers, but must have the talent of controlling children. The need for this is evident as the students rush for their buses. Our young couple have found that the school system has 36 buses, less than any comparable school district. However, due to the routing and scheduling, these buses carry more students per school day than those of neighboring districts. They were also told of the regular maintenance inspections made to ensure the safety of our children. This is the hour for football practice, so Jerry and Margaret hurry to the field back of the high school and are just in time to watch the Husky varsity and reserve squads run through a few plays. Next on their schedule are the parochial schools situated in our township, and we find our couple looking at St. Benedict's, just off West Huron Street. A few minutes driving over to and out the Dixie brings them to the elementary school of Our Lady of the Lakes. Then, after walking south of this building for a few hundred feet, they find a good vantage point from which they look at the new high school, just finished in time for the fall term. To complete their tour of the educational facilities, they visited MSU Oakland and were very pleased to find higher education readily available. As our young couple returned to Waterford, Jerry commented that the township was not static, it was moving forward. They saw construction and building activity wherever they drove. At the airport, their attention had been drawn to the new administration building, topped by the control tower. Housing, new homes of all types, ranch, tri-level, simple, elaborate, were being built for waiting buyers in all parts of the township. Earth movers and bulldozers, those snorting, clanking monsters of this mechanical age, were preparing the site of the new high school, located north and west of the John D. Pierce Junior High School. Seeing this construction prompted Jerry and Margaret to stop at the Board of Education office for a look at the model of the new high school. After leaving the office, they passed the David Grayson Elementary School, now completed and located on Walton Boulevard. It seemed to them that wherever they went, they could hear the deep-throated roar of diesels, powering earth movers, bulldozers, and drag lines, changing the contours of the land, preparing sites for builders, a positive sign of investors' faith in the future of Waterford Township. They remembered that on Cass Elizabeth Lake Road, they saw Michigan Bell Telephone Company's latest contribution to better service. A new exchange building being rushed to completion so that new dial equipment could be installed to better serve our area. On M59, they watched men pouring concrete footings for a new store building, in addition to an established shopping center. Nearby brick masons were busily engaged in erecting walls for a new building designed to house an ultra-modern automatic laundry. They had stopped and parked farther down the road to watch crews demolishing and removing sections of old pavement. This, they had found, was the first stage of a widening program designed to make the highway safer. They remembered seeing signs telling of church construction to come. These signs decided Jerry and Margaret to look at the churches, and we rejoin them as they start this part of their trip. Our young couple are attending church members in their present location and look forward to seeing this phase of life in Waterford Township. They find there are 35 churches representing several denominations in the township. There is a remarkable similarity in the growth patterns of the new churches. With the influx of new residents, congregations of the older churches have overflowed. Some of the older churches had room in which to expand. Others were less fortunate, and members started new congregations. They gathered to worship at first in schoolrooms or vacant store buildings. Gradually, they raised funds through contributions, suppers, rummage sales, and similar means. Our childhood's favorite Robert Louis Stevenson, author of Treasure Island, once said, "I never weary of churches. It is my favorite kind of scenery. Mankind was never so happily inspired as when it made a cathedral." If Stevenson were a contemporary writer, Waterford Township's church people could well be the inspiration for this thought. With a look at the new United Community Church, Jerry and Margaret move on to inspect the utilities which serve Waterford Township. They see Consumer Power Company crews extending gas mains, Michigan Bell Telephone Company linemen installing new cables to improve communications. On the other side of the same building, Jerry and Margaret find the Detroit Edison men hanging new transformers to supply the increased power demand. This sign points the way to the county building area, and Jerry and Margaret decide to visit the county building group. They are impressed with the new 6-story county courthouse, now having its exterior walls covered with stonework. Crossing back to Pontiac Lake Road, Jerry and Margaret pass the County Road Commission's new headquarters and storage yards. Next, we find them on Cooley Lake Road, looking at the entrance sign to the TB Sanatorium. They pause to look at this hospital, which has done so much to alleviate the suffering of local victims. Next to the sanatorium, they see the annex, now in use as a youth home, relieving the crowded conditions at the children's home. A few minutes driving finds them in the center of the township, looking at the seat of our local government. Here are the offices of our township supervisor, clerk, treasurer, and the departments required to run one of the largest townships in Michigan. On Walton Boulevard, they pause at the Community Activities Incorporated building. Here are located the offices of the Township Recreation Department and, as the name implies, the center of most community activities. One such activity, the annual blood bank, sponsored by the local BPW club, is accepting donors. We continue down the road and listen to a fireman telling our housekeepers that taxpayers generally think that a fireman's sole duty is to extinguish fires, and whenever they see the equipment on the road, their first thought is, where is the fire? The fireman also tells them that people, as a rule, regard the writing of traffic tickets as the main function of our police officers. But in Waterford Township, this is not true. As the fireman continues to describe his duties and the many types of calls received which require joint action on the part of both departments, a telephone call is received at the police department. The officer on duty answers, meanwhile writing down all necessary information. The call is about a possible drowning. The desk officer calls a squad car by radio while finishing his report. The car he attempts to contact has an experienced skin diver with his equipment aboard. The radio contact is made, and the officer receiving the call gives the driver the location of the accident, and they are on their way. Meanwhile, the desk officer at the fire department headquarters, station number 1, received the same call through a multiple hookup. The message completed, he pulled the siren switches and reached for the radio microphone, broadcasting a call to the rescue truck and ordering the pump truck at station number 2 to the accident. We return to our young couple listening to the firemen at station number 2. The fireman hears the siren and runs to the pumper. He listens to the radio call and pulls out of the station and is on his way to the scene of the mishap. In Waterford, each pumper is equipped with resuscitation gear. Our young couple decide to follow. The skin diving officer in the patrol car starts to disrobe while en route to the fishing site on the south shore of Mesa Day Lake, the location of the accident. Fortunately, they have only a short distance to drive. They speed on, dodging traffic on Williams Lake Road, hoping to arrive in time. Its well-trained crew know that speed in answering such a call as this may be the difference between life or death. The squad car wheels through the entrance to the fishing site and squeals to a stop as near to the water as possible. The doors fly open and the diver, stripped to his swim trunks, gets out ready for action. The chief unlocks the trunk and they unload the underwater gear. The diver, donning his tanks and equipment with the chief's assistance, starts for the water. As he turns toward the beach, the rescue truck, followed by the pumper, turns off the highway and they come to a stop near the patrol car. The youngster tearfully points to the spot where she last saw her sister. The diver plunges into the lake and sure, strong strokes take him to the spot. He dives and a few seconds elapse. He surfaces, successful on the first attempt. He heads for shore with the unconscious girl. As the diver nears shore, the waiting rescue squad men rush for the blankets and the inhalator carried on the pumper, and carrying them, run to the beach as the diver with the still form comes ashore. The trained crew apply the resuscitation apparatus. Breathlessly, they wait. The girl shudders, gasps, starts to breathe. She is going to live. A life is saved. Jerry and Margaret continue their research. They had heard that Waterford had no industry. This they did not believe and decided to determine the facts themselves. They knew that Waterford had good transportation facilities. They had seen the township was served by progressive utilities. On the Dixie, they saw a trailer coach company with its adjacent display. They recognized the mobile homes immediately, as this product can be seen in trailer parks from coast to coast. On the road again, they passed the home of a firm whose machine tool products are used in machine shop and manufacturing plants all over the nation. Further out M59, they saw the plant of a well-known milling cutter company. As they continued, they observed many small industries, such as this concrete step plant, and they recognized this familiar structure, turning out truckload after truckload of ready mixed concrete. Nearby, there was a plant busy manufacturing concrete products for the building trade. On Walton Boulevard, they looked at Buick's huge warehouse and then decided that some firms had become aware of the advantages Waterford extended to light industry. Jerry and Margaret had heard that a local dairy bottled its own milk and decided to visit the plant. We catch up with them as they watch the bottles leave the sterilizer spotlessly clean. Their eyes follow a bottle as it travels on the conveyor, is filled with pasteurized milk, and is stacked in a waiting crate. Jerry and Margaret next stop for a minute to watch a man carefully cultivating part of his garden with a small, modern gasoline tractor. Nearby members of his family are checking the sweet corn. It seems to be ready for the table. Our young couple have seen many small truck gardens, but today, only a few active farms are left in the township. Jerry and Margaret have passed a few dairy farms with their contented herds grazing or resting in the shade. They were really amazed when in this mechanical era, they saw this team, almost a scene from another age. It is hard for them to believe that agriculture was at one time the major occupation of Waterford Township residents. Leaving this pastoral scene, Jerry and Margaret agree to look at the shopping areas. Wherever they go, north, south, east, or west in the township, they find modern shopping centers. Attractive stores, well stocked, not only with staples, but luxury items to satisfy the most fastidious. Courteous clerks are the rule. Most of the clerks are local people who take a personal interest in the shopping problems of their customers. Scattered in or adjacent to these merchandising centers, our home seekers find professional offices, doctors, dentists, lawyers, also a weekly newspaper, printers, and insurance offices. They also find service and other facilities, such as automatic laundries, bakeries, restaurants, and repair stations. One thing all of these centers have in common is a well-planned parking area. In Waterford, you park and shop. No endless searching for a parking spot, no nickel fumbling, no long walks here. Even the individual stores along our highways have met the parking problem. Jerry and Margaret learn you can buy almost anything you need in Waterford. Peaches to can, plywood, or any other lumber you require for that do-it-yourself job you've been putting off. Nails to fasten that loose board that flaps in the wind. A cruiser to tow that snappy-looking water skier who lives next door. Sand or gravel for that cement job or the youngster's playpen. To resurface the driveway or to make garden paths. Shrubbery of any variety or size to please the better half by improving the appearance of that straggly corner planting. A spare TV set for the kids so you may watch your favorite ball game rather than look at the Cowboys draw and shoot. And when it breaks down or the antenna needs replacing, a serviceman will come in quick response to your call. For that outdoor grill, a juicy steak. Groceries, a selection to tickle the palate of any gourmet. Or, if you want something right from the farm, go to the farmer's market for fresh vegetables, berries, eggs, homemade bread, seedlings, plants, and also flowers of all colors and descriptions. Snapdragons, petunias, zinnias, chrysanthemums in season. Everything one needs may be bought in Waterford, and there is always a service station nearby which handles your favorite brand of gasoline. Having refueled their car, Jerry and Margaret start out again, this time to look at housing. They drive through the new subdivisions where they see sprawling ranch-type houses, small compact units, houses with garages attached, houses without garages, and houses with carports. They find the newer subdivisions have curbed, hard surface streets and central water systems. They stop frequently to look at an especially attractive design. One fact impresses them above all else. In Waterford Township, people buy houses and immediately start converting them into homes. Jerry and Margaret notice that no matter where they drive, Waterford residents take pride in their property. Homeowners fertilize and seed their lawns. After every rain, the staccato bark of power mowers keeping the lawns trimmed and neat is heard throughout the township. The sight of a homeowner engaged in a paint-up or fix-up project is encountered in the area. Shrubbery is kept within bounds by proud housewives who delight in pulling the weeds from their prized flower gardens, giving the fragrant blossoms room to grow and display the beauty that much work and planning has brought forth. It has been said, to cultivate a garden is to walk with God. Lord Byron once said, "Without hearts, there is no home." This has since been paraphrased to, "Home is where the heart is." Waterford is without question a community of homemakers. Years ago, our lakes were bordered with small weekend and summer cottages. Today, Jerry and Margaret find these cottages have been replaced with modern, comfortable year-round homes nestling on the shores of our beautiful lakes. As they were driving, our young couple found that some homeowners had installed swimming pools where the family, especially the children, could enjoy healthy recreation. Convincing evidence of the friendly spirit of Waterford's residents was found at the neighborhood's picnic tables and cookouts. Pleased to find that Waterford has lived up to what it appeared to be, Jerry and Margaret turn to leave, but are halted by this sight. A pair of wrens busily engaged in caring for their brood. Further proof that Waterford Township's desirability as a home site is unexcelled. Our young couple had heard of the recreational facilities abounding in Waterford Township and have saved this phase of their trip for last. We join them on the practice green in front of the Pontiac Country Club, a semi-private course, well known and patronized not only by Waterfords but also adjoining area golfers. It is a rare day during the season when this course is not crowded with devotees of the sport. There is some fascination, almost unexplainable, about the game, which makes a helpless victim of most who start playing golf. We became so interested in the match that we almost missed seeing Jerry and Margaret leave. We catch up with them at the Silver Lake Club, where they are standing with the spectators at the starting tee, looking at the panorama of rolling fairways, tricky sand traps, and elevated greens. Golf is an old game, originated by the Dutch, but developed and generally associated with the Scotch. In 1452, the playing of golf on Sundays was forbidden by the Edinburgh Council. The game was introduced to the United States in the 19th century. In 1894, there were only 4 recognized clubs in the United States, and play was restricted to the very wealthy. Today, several hundred clubs belong to the association, and there are thousands of public and semi-private courses where anyone able to pay the green fee can play the game. Here in Waterford, we are fortunate in having 2 golf clubs available to our residents. Jerry and Margaret leave the golf course and continue their trip. They stop at one of the many public fishing and boat landing sites, and their attention is drawn to the launching of this trim craft. As they watch, they see another boat being warmed up for a water skiing tow. This sight reminds them that a speedboat event is scheduled for Sylvan Lake, so away they go. They find a good vantage point at the park on the city beach and scan with interest the crowd which has assembled. The annual Midwest Outboard Championship, sponsored this year by the local club. The starting gun has boomed and the race is on. The exhausts of the approaching craft merge into a roaring crescendo as they approach the marker buoy. As the boats skitter around the turn and speed up for the next marker, Jerry and Margaret sense the intense interest of the crowd in this popular water sport. We follow them to Elizabeth Lake, where they examine a pontoon boat, gaily painted and rigged. This type of craft is rapidly becoming a favorite on many of our lakes. Our young couple start out again, but drive only a short distance when they are halted by this sight, an ardent disciple of Isaac Walton. Some people fish because they like to get away from the hurry of the day. A lake, a boat, and a rod for company fill their need for solitude. Others enjoy matching wits with the wary members of the finny tribe. To bring a fighting fish to net is their prime ambition. Others fish because they like the taste of freshly caught fish, and others just to kill time. Whether you are man, woman, boy, or girl, Jerry and Margaret find Waterford amply supplied with spots to test your angling skill. For the firearms enthusiast, our young couple find a pistol and rifle range located in the Waterford section of the Pontiac Lake State Park. Here they watch as local Daniel Boones try out their handguns and sight in their big game rifles preparatory to the fall trek to the hunting grounds. Here our local Nimrods have found an ideal testing spot. Riding a horse down a bridle path appeals to Jerry and Margaret as another healthy form of recreation available in Waterford. Our young couple had heard that Waterford Township Recreation Department sponsored many events designed to serve as an outlet for the restless energy of our youngsters during the summer months. We find them at the scene of a splash party in the Donaldson schoolyard. This event is made possible by the cooperation of the fire department, school authorities, and the recreation department. On the north shore of Watkins Lake, our young couple find a group of youngsters answering the roll call for the swimming class. They are told this is one of 5 approved beaches where the Township Recreation Department conducts swimming classes. Each class is under the supervision of a competent, well-trained instructor. Here, Waterford children are taught not only how to swim, but the principles of water safety. Jerry and Margaret hurry back to the Donaldson School to watch the spirited contest between the Tigers and the Yankees, 2 of our elementary school rivals. The Recreation Department supervises 3 softball leagues, the Elementary School League, the Little League, and the Men's League. Our young couple had been told of another Recreation Department activity, the day camp, and we find them heading for that area. Hiking, nature study, woodcraft, outdoor fire building, climaxed by the overnight camp, feature this activity, directed by a trained adult supervisor. Here, the youngsters enjoy the camp facilities for a 5 1/2 day period. Jerry and Margaret climb the winding trails of the area, pausing momentarily, watching first one group, then another. They are especially entranced with the trials and tribulations of this young lady, struggling with this most difficult project, baking a cake in a reflector oven over an open fire. Satisfied that the younger generation are proving worthy successors to their pioneer forefathers, our young couple leave, and next we find them watching with interest as a group launch a boat, planning on introducing one of their members to the art of water skiing. The boat is launched, the power is applied, and the inevitable happens. Years ago, sailors in the South Sea Islands were amazed at the sight of lithe natives riding the heavy surf on long, narrow boards. When our boats became powerful enough to attain speeds up to 18 or 20 miles per hour, it was only natural that someone should remember these native surfboards, make one, and tie it to the stern of his boat. Thus, another sport was born. As the power and speed of our boats increased, it was only a step to substitute skis for the surfboard. The sport was rapidly grasped by the water lovers of the nation. Today, it is no longer necessary to journey to Crystal Springs, Florida to see an exhibition of skillful water skiing. Just visit any lake in Waterford Township. Today, a pair of water skis and a tow line are part of the sports equipment of most of the younger set and a surprising number of the oldsters. Jerry and Margaret, along with the crowd, watch intently as one of the champions makes a perfect approach, cuts across the wake of the speeding boat, climbs the ramp, and completes a remarkable jump. Friends had invited them for a boat ride on Williams Lake, and here we find them getting a close-up of the finer points of water skiing. They are amazed when their hostess discards one ski after the craft attains full speed. As they are making 45 miles per hour, the lovely skier is doing at least 50 as she crosses and recrosses the boiling wake in perfect rhythm. Then, to prove that Waterford can produce real talent, our skier fastens the tow line to her free leg and continues with her arms outstretched. A poem in beauty and motion. Jerry and Margaret must hurry to see the start of the sailboat race at Watkins Lake. They arrive at the starting point just seconds before the gun sounds. What is more exciting than to watch a flotilla of sailboats jockey for position at the start of a race? When the sails fill and the craft heel on a long reach, the sight stirs the heart and has served as the inspiration for many a song and poem. In search of further recreation facilities, our couple enjoy visiting this neighborhood beach. Here the whole family gathers. The picnic tables are loaded and the small fry play in the sand or gleefully put the slides to good use. A brisk, evenly matched water fight occupies one trio of youngsters, while another group are swimming in the shallow waters close to the shore under the watchful eyes of their parents. After a short walk down the beach, our couple is entertained by this young fellow's first venture into the mighty surf. Each year, Tampa, Florida celebrates the invasion by the pirate fleet. Pasadena, California has her Parade of the Roses. New Orleans, her well-known Mardi Gras. Here in Waterford, the Watkins Lake sailors and powerboat owners spend weeks converting the craft into floats. Hours are spent in developing a design to express a theme. Additional hours are required to build the frame, gaily festoon and decorate the craft, and procure appropriate costumes. All to participate in the event of the year, the Venetian Night Parade. The hour comes and the floats, under their own power or in tow, converge on the starting point. The Commodore, with the aid of his deputies, finally creates a semblance of order, and the circuit of the lake is underway. Jerry and Margaret, as guests of the judges, have a magnificent view from the point. They gaze in admiration as craft after craft passes in review, marveling at the imagination of the designers and wondering how the judges will be able to determine the lucky winners. The decisions are made and the two winners tie up in front of the judges' stand. The Japanese tea house is the unanimous choice in the powerboat division. Mother Goose wins hands down in the sail class. The happy crews disembark to receive the congratulations of the judges and the well-deserved trophies. After thanking their hosts for a delightful experience, our young couple leave, feeling the need to relax after a hectic, fast-moving day. We find Jerry and Margaret resting by stopping and looking at some of Waterford's lakes in the waning hours of the afternoon. At this hour, the lakes are tranquil, the motors are quiet, and the surface of the water is disturbed only by the dip of a canoeist's paddle. The only sound is the slatting of an occasional sail in the light breeze. Our young couple stand in reverie, recalling their pleasant experiences while examining Waterford's recreational facilities. They remember a quotation from Simmons: "Recreation is not being idle. It is easing the wearied part by change of occupation." Recalling the different facets of recreation encountered on their tour, Jerry and Margaret decide Waterford is amply supplied with facilities for easing the wearied part, and fully deserves the name Lakeland's Paradise. We rejoin the couple as they are returning home. As we follow, we hear them reliving their trips over and through Waterford Township. They remember the definite objectives they had established before starting for the airport for the first part of their trip. As they relax in their living room, they take turns in telling each other their impressions of Waterford, the adequacies of the schools, the availability of the utilities, the evidence of prosperity indicated by the building activity, the choice and convenience of the churches, the modern shopping centers, all are discussed. The time for decision is at hand and is made. A few weeks later, we see Jerry and Margaret as they leave their apartment for the last time. They enter their wagon, wave goodbye, and start the drive to the new house they decided on in one of the recent developments in Waterford Township. We follow them as merrily they roll along, happy at having chosen Waterford for their home. They are impatient and eager to get to the new place they have purchased, to unload the moving van carrying all their possessions, eager to place their furniture and belongings and establish their home and their place in that most favored of all communities, Lakeland's Paradise.